One-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Presented by Beatrice Bakery on 90.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. In your face on a Sunday. And I want to be real specific. It was a mad rush to get back from Philadelphia to get to Lincoln, Nebraska. DP, Jake Baco, we're going to carry you through as long as you guys want to talk about it. It's up to you. But I thought there were some folks who asked the question, hey, would you know, there should be some wrestling conversation after this weekend. And I agree. I absolutely agree. And so I, hustled tail. And from the airport, I did not have the convenience of flying charter as those national champion runners-up did, but made it back. And I want to have a conversation with you today, if you're willing. We're going to pull a little Cody Rhodes, a little LA Knight. What do you want to talk about? And have some enjoyment over a great performance and a great representation of Nebraska wrestling at the NCAA championships. You can follow. We're all on all the streams, of course. The NCAA hoops are on the brick and mortar on terrestrial, but you can join us and have these conversations with us. Be a part of it. If you're going to call in, I'm just going to ask you to be respectful. Respect the space. We'll take the text. You can text that, hey, I'm going to call in, so we can expect it. But I know that some of you have something to say about this, and the excitement that was shared, whether it be on social media or on phone calls or texts, it was pretty phenomenal to be a part of and to have Husker Nation rally and feel good about themselves. Pretty cool stuff. A number 2 finish. Not only in the Big Ten, but in the national championships. And it kind of let me know 2 weeks ago at Big Tens that all eyes need to swing towards Nebraska and what Mark Manning and this crew was doing. I wanted to be clear in that the only team in the Big Ten who could have beaten Nebraska, who could have kept Nebraska from a Big Ten title this season and most seasons. Most seasons. And you base it on points accrued. And if you remove even the matchups with Penn State, where points were taken away, that Nebraska at the Big Ten was pretty phenomenal. It was pretty remarkable, the performance that they put on. And it made me, even in the Big Ten circle, it made me stand to attention because all the other programs, as much as they were talking about how good Penn State was, they were talking about Nebraska. And they were talking about Nebraska's back end. Most of the country was aware of Ridge Lovett, Brock Hardy, Silas Allred. Some of the country knew about Antrell Taylor and kind of drew eyes to it. But the folks in the Big Ten were talking about Christopher Mento, Cam McDaniel. That was the real thing when folks are going, wait a minute. This is a beast. The country knew about Caleb Smith and his movement and his place in this thing. But to find out that, wow, there was a lot to this in play, I just thought it was a great opportunity for Husker fans to stand up, cheer, be proud of the program. And a lot of the conversation was providing peace to the place and legacy of one Mark Manning. That he, getting his 300th win. Listen, especially in the Big Ten. Look, if he did this at Joe's college, it's still pretty impressive. But to do it in the Big Ten and to do it with that consistency over all the years, and change of talent and change of the way business is being done. So, Bach, I'll ask you, because I'm trying to make sense of it, right? That before this weekend, Nebraska's been top 5, top 10 program for as long as most of your time alive.
That's right.
Right? So what is it that gets in the way of Nebraska wrestling getting the support, the promotion, the backing of the Big Four programs?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's tough to tell. How good I think certainly we do feel like Mark Manning's been maybe taking a little bit for granted over there for Nebraska. But a lot of it, I'll say this, and I wanted to ask you too, because you went out there, what the support was like compared to some of the other schools as far as fan support, because what I've generally seen with Nebraska sports over time is if they win, they will come. And Nebraska wrestling has somewhat been a little bit of an exception to that. Or, you kind of look at some of those, the programs that have had success and maybe aren't quite drawing in that much and say, what is the difference there? Because generally, I mean, volleyball, women's basketball, and we've seen things when they get going, people will come.
Yeah, but how good do you have to be?
I know, right?
Come on. We're talking about a perennial top 10 program in deep, dark waters. Right? We're not talking about this is the local club, right? This is not intramural wrestling. We're talking about Big Ten wrestling. This is big boy wrestling. And I didn't understand some of the silence. I can tell you that the rest of the Big Ten, and then plus the rest of the country, Nebraska was the talk of the wrestling nation. And I want to repeat that for you so you understand. Nebraska wrestling was the entire talk to tell you that people kind of circled Gable Stevenson and that he was going to be the story, right? Or at least that, his legacy, that was going to be a story. Penn State's run, right? And listen, to give Penn State all the credit and all the flowers that you can give them, what they're doing, what they've done and what they're doing is pretty remarkable in a P4 situation scenario. Now, mind you, wrestling doesn't have the widespread reach of football or basketball, but at its core, wrestling fans are the most, I would say they're as diehard as any sport. Like basketball fans, there's some folks in passing, right? Okay. If you're a wrestling fan, you're deep. You're deep in the water. And to have Husker Nation always shows up. Always shows up. Always shows up. Especially the wrestling family shows up. My question and concern was, and listen, I don't have to throw anybody on the bus, but somebody sent me a meme. You know the meme of the lady at Thanksgiving she's searching, looking for people. And they asked the question, well, where was the rest of the media? Because it didn't exist. Wasn't there? Shout out to Nebraska wrestling. And there are some wrestling blogs that paid attention, right? That showed up. But you can't tell me this is your thing if you don't show up. What do we say about an athlete, Bach, who says he loves it, but doesn't practice and doesn't show up at big events? What would we say?
At least not a good team. You gotta have a lot of talent to pass that up.
Right? Like how do you tell me you're a wrestling fanatic or a wrestling fan and you don't show up? Now, Husker fans show up. They show up at Vanny. They show up at events and fundraisers around Lincoln. And Nebraska's a wrestling state. I would, as much as we want to call it a football state and a volleyball state, Nebraska is also a wrestling state. That it brings out fans at relative numbers to the biggest programs in the country. Now, Penn State showed up. If you know you're going to win, look, there's some Penn State fans that didn't know. They wouldn't know an ankle lock. They wouldn't know a single leg. They wouldn't. But it's a great opportunity to yell, "We are," and wear the Penn State colors and cheer when everybody else is cheering. Husker fans, no. Iowa fans, look, they showed up in Philly. Iowa State fans showed up in Philly. Oklahoma State fans. I was surprised, Bach, at the number of Virginia Tech, Penn, Cornell fans. There were a ton of Michigan fans Michigan fans, let me say this about the rest of the Big Ten. The rest of the Big Ten became Nebraska fans on day 2. Like once they lost focus, once Michigan realized, okay, this isn't really going to be a great weekend for us. Once Ohio State realized that, hey, we're not going to podium this thing, so let's have a good time. They all rallied for Nebraska. And it was pretty cool backstage to have. There's a lot to cover in this space. So the fans, when you weren't rooting for your program, the fans and the other wrestlers and the other coaches were rooting for Mark Manning and the Huskers. And I can say that because standing, so I had access. I didn't have the same access that I had at Big Tens that I had at NCAA's that I had at Big Ten. But if I needed to get to the Huskers, I could get to them. But I wanted to be respectful of the space, right? You're battling for national championship. You don't need a local media guy in your face. Like you don't need him bugging you. But they figured out pretty quickly where I was going to be. And the same can be said for all the other fans and all the other wrestlers. Like to watch the other wrestlers prepare. So imagine WWE, the Titantron, right? The what do they call it? The gorilla position?
Yeah.
Right? That I was displaced from that. I was right behind that. So when they had the 8 matches going on at a time, you had 4 sets of wrestlers. Like they had different corners that people were standing there. And if you were on deck, you were getting loose, you were running, you were stretching, you were doing your thing. Then there's the guys who are up next, right? And they are Bull Snort, Silverback Stomp. Like this was in the space. And you, hey Bach, you paid respect. He got as far back away and gave as much space as you could get. But here's the thing: Nebraska wrestlers did a thing better than everybody else in that they supported their teammates when they were wrestling. Like they weren't in the back chilling out. They were in the tunnel with their guys. And this is how I started to buy into Nebraska wrestling in full. Throughout the course of the season, I saw it in Vegas. I saw it at the Big Tens. I've seen it at the Vandy. They stand on business for each other. But listen, Mark Manning has built it. This is a beat. When you talk about culture, it's not the BS that people talk about. It's the togetherness that happens. In that they support each other, they push each other, they make demands of each other. It was pretty interesting. And so you start to identify, here's how good this roster is. I cannot tell you who the leader is. They all are. Imagine 10, 12, 15 wrestlers all standing on business for each other all the time. Like it's impressive. And I was asked several times, what makes this so special? To see how many wrestlers, like again, in the scope of Nebraska wrestling, I'm nobody, right? But to have them engage the way they did tells me that they're good humans who happen to be great wrestlers. And to pull off, what was it, 100 and, how many points did they accumulate? Find that for me.
117.
117 points. Now they have, how they have for basketball, they have the projections, right? The pre-tournament projections, and some had Nebraska 4th, some had Nebraska 5th, some projected them somewhere around 70 points as a team. Somewhere around 70 points. And the tournament scoring is pretty interesting. So mainly bonus points, right? That you have to not only win, but you have to win impressively in order to accumulate points. And 100? Are you kidding me? And again, that there was one team, not Penn State, within arm's distance of Nebraska. And that's to say that they sent 9 wrestlers to who qualified for nationals, all ranked in the top 20. But that doesn't mean anything. Like that doesn't mean anything. Like if you're not in the top 16, then the expectation is that you're probably going to get got in the first round, and then you may get a win in the wrestle back. You may get 2, but 9 wrestlers went to the national tournament. And this lineup of 9 went 34-14. Like that's some gladiator nonsense. 34-14. It's mind-blowing to think that that's how good they were going to be. And somebody asked me before the tournament, how many All-Americans I thought Nebraska was going to come home with. And I asked the question, well, how many, what's the best performance Nebraska's had? And it was not 8. It was not 8. So imagine that 8 of the wrestlers, and should have been 9, quite frankly. You only didn't get it. Was one win away in the blood round from being an All-American. He was one win away. Which means that if you reseed the country, the entire country now, all 9 of them are top 8. 8 of them are top 8, 1 of them is top 10. That is bonkers. So is there... Let's make it relevant. Let's make it relevant. If I said to you, Bob, how many football players are in the top of their positions nationally?
Top 8? I don't think there is one.
Like we softball 2?
Yeah. Very tough to get on anywhere on campus.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Baseball 1?
Yeah.
Starting pitcher? Who's out? But
yeah.
Maybe one arm, but if you said top bullpen arms, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Go around. You could say that in volleyball, bowling, and now wrestling. Am I missing something?
I have to think about the other
Tucker.
but probably I think that covers them.
Right? Jordy Ball. right?
Yeah.
Oh, track and field.
Yep.
Because you have 3 All-Americans. Yeah, 2, but we'll count 3. Right? I mean, and Axelina is that world-class good. Like, their throwers are that good. The jumpers are that good. Emma Spence, they go to nationals. She won an event she was a Big Ten champion in bars and top 4 in the Big Ten overall. So if you ask me, is she top 10 in the country? I would imagine that she's going into nationals with that in her mind, that in her, like, she was almost perfect. And that means that somebody would have to be perfect to beat her at the bar. She has the same type of performance. So hello. And Sophie McClellan probably in that conversation. Men's gymnastics, right? Top 10, top 5 program last year. Same conversation, right? That I know that last year they had a top 8, top 10. I don't know. But I think it's time. I say all of that to say this. It's time to rally around this program. Because they showed that, listen, even with the support that they're getting, they're the second best program in the country. And everybody else is targeting Nebraska. They're looking behind the door to see, they're looking behind the curtain to see what the Wizard of Maine is doing to get, the Wizard of Lincoln, what's he doing to get this program number 2 in the country? And it's a big dang do. So we'll come back. I do want to go into that, but there's another part of what happened in Philly. And Bob, it's pretty interesting. Recruiting just got easier for Mark Maine. And I know that because of conversations had around the building. We'll talk about that more. These Huskers, number 2 in the country. We'll be right back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, ushering in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot, and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Big box stores are attempting to provide equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring the gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports. at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Coppell team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at CoppellCars.com. All deals with Blue Credit. See dealer for details.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll be satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or at Williamsburg Village.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes was my best friend. They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke, actually multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, baby. 402-464-5685. The starting the text line. Again, this is an hour. I just wanted to pay tribute because the access and. But I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to go longer than an hour. Because there's no way to talk about all 9 of these wrestlers and then all of the other stories. But you tell me. Sunday is your mothership. You're running it. You're the Captain Kirk. It goes how you need for it to go. But
we're good to go for another hour and a half.
Yeah, here's the part. Here's the part of this. That there were a lot of big time boosters and supporters. Now, I've said this on air before. I'll say it again. That Nebraska wrestling fans, there are no border casual Nebraska wrestling fans. The people who showed up in Philly and the people who showed up in Indianapolis for Big Tens, those are fanatics. Like it's these are people that beat each other up during matches, right? Listen. So you're at the Wells Fargo Center. So it's where the Flyers and the Sixers play, and it's well set up. It's very nice. They have these big open areas, the big restaurants, several restaurants, sitting tables, put people there drinking beverages, it's full on. Except for this is where normally it's all Sixer fans or all Flyers fans. Except for this particular case, it's all everybody. It's all everybody. And I was amazed at how many wrestling fans knew each other. Like from different places. And there's a video online, and I happened to be like in the proximity when it actually happened. But this is, like you go to a football game, in the tailgate, people are out throwing football around and doing that sort of thing. But there were fans wrestling inside on the concourse, man. And like it was just imagine like you're having these conversations and the two guys next to you, one decides to double leg the next and pick him up. And they're having this conversation about hand fighting, so people are doing hand fighting. And then if you look off to the side, there's two moms. And they're hand fighting. They're literally trying to explain. And Buck, my jaw is 100% on the floor. Just standing there trying to figure out what is happening. And then you find out that this is their life. This is their living. And then you also find out where Nebraska wrestling stands in this hierarchy. And I was not here in Nebraska in the 80s and 90s when the football team was the program. So I can imagine, like I hear what it was like. But if Nebraska football was the program, right? Who was the program before, right before Nebraska? Was that Oklahoma? Was that Florida, Florida State, Miami?
Miami won like 5 titles there.
Right?
Well, probably Miami, I guess.
Right? So Miami would be today's version of what Penn State wrestling is doing. And that Nebraska, because of proximity. Now, it's not Nebraska and Iowa, although Iowa seemed to feel like it was their spot. And took none too kindly to Nebraska impeding on their wrestling party. Like they came to get number 2. And said so out loud. Oh, you're just trying to compete to get like 4th. Be happy with 5th. Don't build your hopes up, Nebraska. And to watch it engage, but then you start to hear, wait, we have to do the wrestling math. And if you go through Nebraska's 9, right? They were surprised that Nebraska got 9. And then that Nebraska would get points from the 9. And then get bonus points from the 9. Let's start with Caleb Smith at 125, who had a chip on his shoulder. Like that they seeded him 9th after finishing 2nd at the Big Ten tournament. Finishing 2nd at the Big Ten tournament. Now, the lower weight classes are the weight classes where you could be outside of the Big Ten and build some substance to your resume. And that's what happened. And Caleb had 3 sudden victories. Like that dude had to go wrestle extra. The guy who was born premature with the small lungs that were never supposed to get to maturity had to wrestle. Had to go through. Caleb won 5 matches at the national tournament. Caleb Smith won 5 matches at the national. Listen, for any wrestler in the country, that if you're wrestling amongst the 32 best in your weight class in the country, and you get 5 wins, you get to stand on the podium and with your chest out. Jacob Van Dee took a major concussion. Not that there are any minor concussions, especially in wrestling, right? 2 weeks ago at Big Ten tournament. And Jacob Van D won 5 matches at the national tournament. Like the brawl for it, the brawling of it for Van D. And I said, I think he's the biggest dog of the team. I think those two little guys are the 2 biggest dogs of the team. They have the most fight. The way that they do it. But okay, All-Americans at 125 and 133. And at 141, Rich Lovett is in a Shark Tank of 4 of the best wrestlers in the country of any weight class. Like if you had to rank all of the wrestlers, regardless of weight class, that 141 weight, hello, Lincoln. That 141 weight class is loaded. It was loaded. And for Ridge to go through, and that he's like 500 against everybody who's going to make it to the semifinals and beyond. But to talk himself through and walk himself through to a 4-0 week at a national championship, Brock Hardy, who is the iron to Ridge Lovett's steel, and to have them both just battle their way through was pretty impressive. And to have a moment where he could have captured a national title, but runner-up is not it's not a terrible thing. Antrell Taylor. That you had a gauntlet of Hardy, Lovett, and Taylor, who all made it to the finals. And to say that anybody projected that to happen, you could have hoped that happened. But to project that Nebraska would run 3 weight classes and put finalists in each of them, and then to come away with titles in 2 of them, and bravo, shout out to Antrell Taylor. Losing your father, losing your brother, both of them being killed, and having to rely on your mom to really kind of set the table. He told the story that, you know what, there are other options. There are people that offer more money than Nebraska did, but he didn't want to wrestle anywhere else. Matter of fact, he was going to give up wrestling. After he lost his 2 family members, he was like, you know what, I'm not sure this is for me. But he put it down, and he wrestles for them. He wrestles on their behalf. He wrestles with them in mind. And remarkable, absolutely remarkable for him to go through. And he had just recently lost to Joey Blaze from Purdue, got him in the final. Upsets everywhere. Christopher Minto, who hid the fact that his foot was injured at the Big Ten tournament, and didn't show well at the Big Ten tournament. But there he is in the semifinals. There he is as a freshman. So if you look at that crew and folks who are coming back, and then behind them is Lenny Pinto, who has another year. All-American. Silas Allred, who battled his way through, All-American. And then maybe the story of the tournament on top of that is Cam McDaniel at 197, another freshman. There were 4 freshmen All-American. 2 of them were Huskers. 2 freshmen All-American. And he was a 20 seed. He went to the tournament as a 20 seed and fought his way into the All-American standing status. And because of the performance of this team, this roster of incredible young people, the tournament named Mark Manning coach of the tournament. And if you have not found the picture of this team hoisting Coach Manning on their shoulders, if you want to identify and brand Nebraska wrestling, especially this year's version of it. Just find a picture of Mark Manning on the shoulders of his team. Because, my goodness gracious, it warmed my heart in full to see that reaction, to see them acknowledge him acknowledge them, and then to have every single wrestler, wrestling coach, and fan in the building stand to applaud Mark Manning. I don't know when the last time that happened, Bach. I don't know when the last time a Nebraska coach got the rest of the country to stand and applaud him. Not sure. I'm going to trust the Nebraska fans to tell me so. But it was a remarkable thing to watch. Those 9 wrestlers, the coaches, Terrell, Schneider. This is such a unique group. Coach Green. Coach Omar, I thought all along that this was a good program. What I did not know was how deep the roots ran and how connected they were. Because when they needed each other, they were there for each other, they picked each other up. A part of it's the coach in me, just to see how important it is for people to cover for each other and rally for each other and be there for each other. To have them whisper to each other and watch the coach's engagement with these young men, and then to watch how their opponents reacted to them and responded to them. There was not one in the back. There was not one time in the back where the Husker opponents didn't seek them out to handshake, pat them on the back, or otherwise. I can't speak for Nebraska. I can't speak for Husker Nation. I can speak for myself, though. That was an impressive 4 days of just watching a team, a program. Like, there are some good teams there, but there was a bit of a disconnect. There's a bit of a me. The guy AJ Ferrari, who everybody liked to talk about, who is the lightning rod for wrestling. As much as I thought that it was Gable Stevenson, no, AJ Ferrari is the one that makes people pick a side. You watch people that are there for them, and you watch people that are there for their team. And Nebraska had a group of young people who fought for each other and were there for each other. And it showed up in the numbers. 117 points. It was a bit humbling for some writers who had to face Nebraska in the back, in the press room. And they would say, oh, yeah. Yeah, you said that we were actually very good. And it is a very cool thing and a humbling thing. But this is why I say this, and I'll keep repeating it. Never say anything about an athlete in a blog or on a radio show that you would say to their face with them in the room. Because ultimately, you're going to get in the room with them. Bach, impressive times. We'll throw the break. We'll come back. More wrestling talk here on the Ticket.
Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in a new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot, and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with Blue Credit. See dealer for details.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll be satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and Oak or at Williamsburg Village.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes is my best friend. They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Nation. We're talking wrestling. And the Huskers had quite the weekend. And I wanted to share some of the details of the young man and then the program itself. Because to tell you how proud they were and what they've done, they were aware, the Huskers, I want to say fairly, that this team was aware of how proud Husker fans were of them. And it showed up in the work. They were thankful and appreciative to have people there and to see the social media engagement. It's important, but to shout out that Brandon Bradley, the director of operations, and the wonderful work that he's done, the exposure that he's provided, the information that he's provided. James Green, of course, part of the last pair of Huskers to win national championships in the same year. Pretty impressive. And then his ability, each of the assistant coaches have their own talents, but they're all amazing workers. A thing was said, Rich Lovett said a thing that, and he specifically on recorded time said that he's never showed up to practice to a day when Mark Manning it seemed like Mark Manning didn't want to be there. And it's important. And I'm a member of that club. And Bach, I think you can vouch for this, that I say this about myself and everybody else. I love the fact that I love coming to do this. And I want to be around people that want to do this. If you ever feel like this is work, it's probably time to go get a real job. right? That as a coach, I've never once gone to a practice and felt like, oh boy, I ain't got to go to practice. I got to deal with this. And when your athletes say that about you, it's confirming and validating and good. Terrell is so unique in this space that every wrestling coach respects all members of the Husker coaching staff. But Terrell is the real party starter. Terrell is the guy that when he walks, everybody clears a path. And I don't care what staff you're on. I don't care what weight class you're in as a wrestler. Terrell, when he starts his stomp, everybody's just kind of like, okay, I'll be over here. And his guys recognize that you have a dude. We talk about it as coaches that can I get some points getting off the bus? Right? Can I get some points getting off the bus? Now you fully imagine that Minnesota gets points getting off the bus. Right? Because you send your biggest badass off the bus to start the party. Right? So games do that, like up until yesterday, right? He took on a dude, and we'll talk about that box. They said the biggest upset in wrestling, college wrestling history. But I can think back to where some ultimate stars got beat. But in this day and age, the greatest amount of exposure, yeah, you can talk about it. But Delagnab is he's a silverback, man. There's no other way. Like to the broadness and the brilliance of his stride, he has a national champion stride to him. So does Snyder. Yeah, he's the middle of the weight class guy, but Snyder's a dude. He's a dude. All of them love this. They love wrestling. They love being Husker. They love doing it on the big stage. They love the private moments. They love the public moments. And they love being there for these young men. And the young men are aware of how blessed they are to have them. And all of them love Mark Manning. And they use the word love when talking about Mark Manning, when talking in reference to Mark Manning, when talking to Mark Manning. And you cannot have that in this kind of program. Look, this is a gladiator sport. This is for Neanderthals, knuckle draggers, and apex predators. And when you can convince them all through repetition, consistently and constantly loving them, that love is okay in that space among men, you are bad, bad dude. But as a matter of fact, you are the national coach of the year, the NCAA wrestling tournament. What Mark Manning has done, and I want to give flowers. I want to give flowers to this guy because Mark Manning didn't know me from Adam. But to give me access and to trust me in that space, don't step on my toes, right? Don't get in the way. Don't break any secrets. Like don't break any trust. I feel like Manning's kind of like Robert De Niro. Like I'm watching you, right? But you also you have respect for it. You know, circle of trust. And you follow it because he's consistent and he's good. Like he's not asked to do a thing that he won't do himself. And then you watch it come to fruition the way it came to. Listen, to a man, to a person, they want national championships from the smallest to the largest. They want to be on the highest level of the podium. They want to be where Penn State is. Nobody is closer to Penn State than Nebraska is. In full. Ponder that for a moment. That you're watching one of the greatest eras of collegiate wrestling ever, and Nebraska is the only program close to it. They're not that far away. I'd love to figure out what it would take to take the next step. We got time, Bob? You want to go through this? Or what do you want to do?
Yeah, we got another hour.
Hey, man, let's go ahead and do this. We'll keep talking about it. I think it's worth it. Nebraska wrestling, number 2 in the country. We'll come back to the ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot, and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Coppell team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at CoppellCars.com. All deals with Roof Credit C dealer for details.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll be satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes was my best friend. They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppell Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Presented by Beatrice Bakery on 90.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom. In your face for hour two. This is a celebration. We had a couple of people text. So can the ticket put together a parade? I'm like, no, we don't have that kind of juice, bro. I said, we can do radio. We can talk. We can talk Husker. We can talk about it. Shout out to my buddy Dan Turner, who was a wrestler at my middle school and my rival high school. Pretty good athlete. He, Barry Thompson. These were all high school wrestlers. They were football players, but they were wrestlers to their core. Jeff Tulowitzki, who wrestled in college, was an all-Met wrestler, all-state wrestler. My buddy Brian Plato. All of them following wrestling in full. Collegiate wrestling in full. And all of them sitting on pins and needles talking about Husker wrestling this weekend. This morning, they were all texting. And I wanted to go through because I wanted to go through the process because everybody like, well, wait a minute. When did you like Foster Breeze is another one? He's like, you always know when something is about to happen. He goes, how did you know to pick that team and that program of all? I'm like, wait, he goes, you did it with volleyball because he goes, I remember when you first called me and told me you were going to do a volleyball show, and I was just like, whatever. And I'm like, nope, pay attention, pay attention. And so we went. We had Nicklin Hames and Kenzie Knuckles, right? And back in the days when people said, I don't know why you're having them on air. They didn't want to listen to women. They didn't want to listen to volleyball talk. If it wasn't football, they didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, that's the way you've been doing business. But there's far too much good in Nebraska athletics to only talk football. I'm sorry. I'm as big a football fan as there is. But there's more to this thing, and you can identify what's happening in football by paying attention to the rest of the athletic department. You can find out what's happening in football by finding out what's happening to the young people in the rest of the athletic department. If you're not in the lectures and to talk to the young people to find out what they think and what they know, you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat. That's you taking a shower and only washing the front. Like, no, you have to do better than that. Same for bowling. Then when we start putting the young ladies on from bowling, everybody's like, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to listen to bowling. Why would you pay attention to that? Because it's Nebraska athletics. Gymnastics. Shout out to Michaela Curtis and Kenzie Roby for stepping up and saying, you know what? We'll do it. We'll tote the mail. And just breaking down how difficult it is. Reagan Hinsey telling you the difficulty of being in the swimming and diving. Her and Dr. Kathy telling you how many repetitions they have to go through. Swimming, you talk about conditioning, but you're doing it in the pool. And then talk about the punishment that you go through. The number of dives, the number of laps, the pain, the injuries that you have to fight through. Gymnastics, to see these young ladies and young men walking around in boots during the week, and then Friday night they just tape it up and go out there and flip flop and try to stick leggings on one leg. And so you find out about the people who are connected to these sports. And I say it all the time, and I mean it so in full. Never put the game over the people. Never choose the game over the people. And the games only matter because of people. And the more you know people, the more the games matter. And by bringing in coaches, if you talk to Lane Tarvell one time, you know he is an absolute dude. You talk to Will Bolt, you find out how much they love baseball. And then you start to identify what it is that they need in their young people. Right? You talk to Heather Brink and you realize that she is recruiting Olympic caliber athletes to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is not easy to do. Paul Klempa is producing some of the best women professional bowlers in the world come through Lincoln, Nebraska to win national titles and to see what happens. Well, look at what Mark Manning is doing. Not only producing legendary performers, but then having those guys turn into coaches and then continually put back into the pot. That if you don't think that Brian Snyder could be a head coach at 95% of the programs in the country. Same for James Green. Same for Terrell. They could all go but no, they stay to stand next to Mark Manning as Huskers. And they pour into these young men who could go anywhere in the country and wrestle. And they choose Lincoln, Nebraska. They choose this fan base. They choose this athletic department. They choose this university. They choose this coaching staff. And that's why I kept pushing Mark Manning. I kept poking him. since I got here, it's been poking. Coach Bain, you need your own show. You need to do this, man. You need to give exposure to these young people. And there are people that don't know. Don't do it. For a variety of reasons. All of them. Terrible reasons. Horrible reasons. But Mark Manning, being Mark Manning, a man of character and stature, said, you know what? We need to have these conversations. We need to give exposure to our quality young people. We need to share these brilliant young people and this amazing program, the historical program. Like if you go through and talk about the collegiate goats on the Mount Rushmore, that, hey, we can talk about Jordan Burrow, put him in the conversation, and be rightfully so. So much so that the national broadcasters choose a Husker to tell everybody what's going on in the tournament, in the championships. That Daniel Cormier, Hall of Fame UFC fighter, Hall of Fame wrestler, collegiate wrestler, sought out Mark Manning. Sought out his wrestlers. To have Jordan Burrow walk up on Antrell Taylor and look him in the eye with the pride of a big brother. And just looking at the young man that's carrying on the legacy that he helped build. Snyder's a champion. Terrell's a champion. Green's a champion. Manning is a champion. And Nebraska Wrestling, what they did in that space. Again, I'll go back to the Big Ten tournament because the Big Ten tournament, look, if you don't have the program in the country, Nebraska's you're having different conversations about that. But there were people, when Nebraska lost to Northern Iowa early in the year, social media was filled with those people who were just out there talking about it's time for Manning to go away. It's time to get rid of Manning. They need to fire Manning. They don't do this. They don't do that. Where are those people now? Did you correct yourselves? Did you correct yourselves? Did you give flowers to this roster and this staff? And the people who said not worth their time to cover. Well, Nebraska Wrestling is worth covering. There's not one uninteresting person in the program. I believe they had 6 academic all Big Tens. Maybe more. What more do they have to do? Well, they had to kick down the door. There was a point during the championship, late in the championship, when Nebraska had more points than Penn State. And everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other. Hey. We didn't expect that, did we? But to hear Iowa fans, to hear Iowa State fans, to hear Penn State fans, to hear Ohio State fans, Michigan fans, Northwestern fans. Like I actually got to travel with some of the Northwestern folks, and they couldn't say enough good things about Nebraska. Nebraska fans who showed up. Yes, Nebraska has the nicest fans in the country, even at wrestling. Even at wrestling. And why? Good folks. Good programs build good people. Good people build good programs. The two are tied together. 8 All-Americans. 8. Bob, tell me, do a quick Google search. Has football ever had 8 All-Americans in the same year?
That'd be a tough feat.
I don't know the answer. I am asking the question. I don't know the answer to that. But that's pretty remarkable. I know the wrestling program's never had 8 before. And that's 8 out of 22 or 24. 22. Because you get 25. Don't they do that? Because they have a kicker, a punter, kick returner.
Yeah.
Right? So it's never just 22.
I'll throw an all-purpose one.
Right. But 8 the
71 team had 6 All-Americans. That's pretty impressive.
6. And I believe Nebraska Wrestling once before had 6 All-Americans. But 8 All-Americans. And to say that in watching it, they did a very cool thing. So the Big Ten did a very cool thing this year, where they gave each champion a Big Ten championship belt. And I was like, I can't imagine. Like, I know the NCAA gives each individual national champion his own national championship trophy, but NCAA did a really cool thing that I caught this morning. They gave the national champions jackets. Letterman's jackets. Which, Bach! Chef's kiss good. And shout out to Troy, because so he flew out. He was there Thursday, and then yesterday, before the finals, sitting there talking to Mark Manning, and he goes, and I've never. Each coach has his own personality, but Mark Manning is just the guy who, as much as he's just a gremlin worker, I'm not sure there's anybody who enjoys it more than Mark Manning. Like that enjoys the young people, that enjoys the coaching, that enjoys the matches, that enjoys the brothership. I'm not sure there's anybody that enjoys it as much as Mark Manning. But he says this thing, hey, Dan's the dude. I'm like, what happened? He goes, he got us charted to fly home. I was like, wait a minute. He goes, yeah, he got his private plane. And I just went, of all things, like Bach, I'm not sure I would have pulled that trigger or had thought to pull that trigger. But that's pretty gangster. Right? To say, hey, you guys have been so badass, we're going to send the private plane for you. Because you have to share, right? Like the athletic department has to share. And so it depends on what's going on. Somebody, Matt Rule could have been, having a big recruit and he needed the plane. And you got, another national championship, right? Because you had track national championship. You had Big Ten gymnastics championship. Swimming, diving, like you have other events going on. And I'm pretty sure you have to book them in advance. But of course, Dan is the big boss, and he goes, taking the big bird, go get the boys. So kudos. But to hear the wrestlers celebrate that, like all of it, the behind the scenes stuff. And I'm so thrilled. Let me say this as well. To have Mark Manning share the journey and invite the ticket and its listeners into behind the scenes exposure to their athletes. It is a powerful statement of trust for a coach and a top 5 program, right? Yeah. To say, I trust you. I trust my athletes not to screw this up, right? To not get on there and say something silly, right? To not share private information or confidential information. To not say anything bad about a competitor, turning them into a rival. They're not giving you any of that. The coaches not being afraid to share their love out loud, right? And for them to trust us. For Mark Manning and the athletic department, for Troy Gannon, to trust the ticket with that sort of access. Listen, when appreciated and acknowledged, then we can go to work and hey, Bach can get the message that, hey, we want to do some extra free radio, and that you show up and give of your time. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. I'm not going to go without saying that. But this is what it should be. In that, because I know that as much as you love basketball and as much as you love football, that you have appreciation for the stuff that goes on behind, because it makes you smarter. Because you get to hear in some of these conversations with these student athletes, you get to hear things, right?
Oh yeah.
And you set the feeling of trust that they're trusting you with their information and their stories, and you have a responsibility to kind of push them and say, hey, can you talk about this? That's what this is supposed to be for. And it's to watch Coach Manning and the staff and the fan base, because there has not been a Tuesday that I've been here doing the Takedown Tuesdays where fans didn't show up to say hi to either Coach Manning or the rest. And I'm a teammate, and I can tell you that my high school mentor, my high school teammate, he's also a wrestler. And last year, he happened in one of our get-togethers. He told me what a huge fan. His two favorite wrestlers were Aaron Taylor and Caleb Smith. And he came when I meet with him on Tuesday morning. So I told him, hey, guess who's going to be at the station today? And I told him, he goes, no way. And I'm like, you should come down. You should come meet them. And then so I texted the guys and said, hey, you okay if I invite one of your fans down? And they were like, great. And they were so good with that, which is another thing that tells me you have the right people. Because he told me in confidence who his heroes were. And then his heroes were worthy of being a hero to the young man. And they came here, they took pictures and signed stuff, and now they communicate. And then last night, you get the text. Look at our guy go. But that's why Antrell appreciates and respects. That's why Caleb trusts. That's why Chris Minto trusts. That's why Rich Lovett trusts. That's why Brock Hardy trusts. That's why Lenny Pinto trusts. Because we've been here, and we've been here for them, and we've been what we said we were. Well, they were who they said they were. They said in week 1 of Takedown Tuesdays, we're going to get on the podium. We're going to make a bid. We're going to make a bid, and as silly as that can sound, coming from athletes, because nobody thinks that they're terrible. But for them to say, watch us. Watch us. We've got something going on, DP. Watch us. Have the coaches say, hey, we got something going on. Watch us. And if we had told people 3 months ago that Nebraska wrestling would be number 2 in the country, Bach, what would the reaction have been?
Well, good luck.
Right? Hey, 2 national champions. 2 national champions. And a runner-up.
Probably say something along the lines that you haven't had a national championship since Jordan Burroughs. So.
And there you have it. There you have it. We'll throw the break more on the spectacular weekend that was in Philadelphia. Husker wrestling. Runners-up behind Penn State.
Our infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot, and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer details.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks. Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays. Games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68 or at Williamsburg Village.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes was my best friend. They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 90.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That was probably the only thing that was missing from Philadelphia was some Husker fan painting their face, tying up the biceps, and just sprinting through the crowd. Like, that's the only thing, although there were several Go Big Red guys. The yellers.
Oh, yeah.
The designated yellers. It's pretty interesting to see them kind of bounce off each other. Again, other fans were pretty open. They're like, so is there like a Go Big Red practice? I was like, shut up.
Try it.
Right, like, do you have like, come on, you all have your own. I mean, it's no different than we are chants. Right? Like, it's just like, stop it. And there were several times where those two chants went back and forth. Yeah, I've had my fill of the We Are chants for a while. I have mad respect for Penn State fans. But yeah, I'm cool with no more We Are chants for a while.
They do that at the football games too. Whenever they score, I remember a couple of years back. I think it was the last year of Mike Riley. Whenever they scored, they do like a growling tiger or whatever. And they just scored a lot. And by the end of it, it was just like, I love football, and I do not want to hear that growling tiger one more time.
Well, my time in Carolina with the Panthers did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they even had debates over them having to go and re-record an actual Black Panther rather than some offshoot Panther who's rather they were using it. They're like, wait a minute. Oh, technically, that's not a North American Panther. That's not an American Panther. That's you need to go and do that more of a mountain lion. And people actually, but to tell you how much corn talk there was at the hotel bar, and the funny thing was is that I was being expected, so I was kind of incognito until yesterday because I was wearing neutral clothes. And so I just, have on black and, do that. I do the same thing for games at Memorial. Like I'll just wear, like today I have on the ticket hoodie and I'll wear that under a vest or something and not be bothered. But yesterday I said, it's championship Saturday and I don't care. So I went full Husker gear. And a lot of people who I've been having the conversations with, so Wednesday, they didn't really know. Thursday, they kind of knew just because of the engagement I was having with the athletes. And then there was one Penn State fan who she goes, so I guess I know who you're going to be writing favorably about. And I went, yep. Yep. I said, I'm here to cover the Huskers. I don't care what Penn State does. I don't care what Iowa does. I don't care what Iowa State does. I don't care. I'm here for the Huskers. So, yeah, that's where my focus is. And she's like, well, that's kind of refreshing that you would actually admit that. I'm like, why would I? If I can't be honest about why I'm here, like I'm sorry, but why I don't. I like the young man. I respect the young man. Do I care about what's going on away from the mat? Nope. Interesting guy. Like he was another one that was around. So if you took, I'm trying to do it quickly. Imagine that there's 320 some athletes there. That most of them, 300 of them, were social and engaged, and there was camaraderie, and they, you didn't have to be one of them to be involved. But Penn State stayed in their space and didn't care, except when they came out to the tunnel. And then all of a sudden they would socialize. And I'm not begrudging anybody their focus and otherwise. But Bach, if you're standing in the hallway at PBA and Gable Stevenson walks up to you and starts talking, you're engaging, right?
That's pretty cool.
Right? Like you're going to engage. Doesn't have to be a Husker.
Yeah.
It could just be sports guy talking to an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Curiosity. If you're an athlete and you see somebody, now they like the fact that I had on my Jordan, so they gave them a reason to come up and talk. The coaches 90% of the coaches came up to talk to me on their own effort and otherwise, because they saw Husker wrestlers and Husker coaches come up and talk. They're like, okay, so you're knowledgeable, you're here, you're consistent. Not everybody behind the scenes, nice guys. Husker fans can be proud of their Huskers. They legitimately said, they legitimately have 10, they're starters, and you can add Bubba Wilson to it and say 11. They have 11 wonderful human beings. They have nice guys. They happen to just be gladiators, but they're nice guys. And I didn't know this until a week ago or so. But I didn't know that Mark Manning was going to church with these guys. Like, he's got all of his athletes. Like, to hear the black athletes say they were going to church with Mark Manning, his and theirs, I was like, okay, Mark Manning, talk to me. And a few weeks ago, I found out, okay, so did you hear the story of Coach Terrell Delagnav, that Coach is a dancer?
Okay, what kind of dancer?
He's a hip-hop dancer. Now, walking around at 265, 60 pounds, whatever, Terrell Walker, 50, 40, whatever, right? Don't be mad at me, Coach. Like, I don't know how much you weigh. But there's a video online of Terrell Delagnav popping in the line. And you know how, so there's a Hoiberg breakdance kind of, right? He's kind of mocking it and making fun of it. So we get it. Like, it's a good time. I don't think we've ever seen Pat Roll dance. I can imagine the Harvell dancing. I'm not sure I can imagine Will Bolt dancing. Bootskill, maybe. Like the Texas side of him, maybe. Maybe. I would imagine that Harvell's got several skills in the utility belt. Hoiberg, yes. Some of his staff, yes. Wow. Jalen Reyes, yes. Volleyball? Yeah. I'm not sure John Cook was a dancer. We'll have to find out from the new coach whether she's a dancer or not. I would imagine that Heather, as a gymnast, was a dancer. Most of her girls are dancers. So, but you can go online and you can find the video of Terrell Delagnav. Great dancer. And if you don't think that adds cool points, all of his guys give him props for that. And that's the stuff that's important. Like, that's the stuff that carries up. But yeah, they all got their All-American trophies. The jackets. I'll send you. I don't know if you saw pictures of the jackets. Did you catch a picture of the?
I haven't seen one yet. No.
Yeah. So Rich Lovett and Terrell both got national championship jackets, and they wore them on the plane, on the private plane, boarding the private plane with their national championship trophies and their national championship jackets. And they aren't blazers; they're more like Letterman jackets. But yeah,
I don't think I could take mine off. I don't know if we'd have to ask him if either one of them have.
Well, I'm imagining that we're going to see them this week. Maybe on Tuesday. I don't know who we're going to get on Tuesday. But if I were like, so Lovett and Hardy got the Big Ten championship belts. And Bob, if you won a Big Ten championship belt, I'm pretty sure you showered in that thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, right? Like you would wear that.
Well, you got your keys, wallet, phone, championship belt.
Right? And I don't know what you do. Do you frame your national championship jacket or do you wear it?
Oh, man.
Right? I don't. What do you do?
I don't think that you. I mean, you probably should bring it, but it'd be tempting to wear at least for a while.
Like just to wear it on campus?
Yeah. I think I would. I'd at least wear it for a week.
Right? Like he came down. So were you here when Ridge brought the belt?
Yeah, I did see that.
Right? Like we're belt guys. We're pro wrestling championship belt guys. So we may have a higher level of appreciation for the strap than anybody else. But I think I would. Which one means more? The jacket, the national championship trophy that will sit on your mantle, or that Big Ten championship belt?
I mean, as much as I love this other thing, that national championship trophy, I mean, that's what you dream about. That's what you think about. And those aren't given out. I mean, there's very few, select few people that have to earn those. You can replicate the other stuff a little bit.
You know what I might do? I'll have to talk to them. But you know you can have those belts with me.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But come on.
Those are pretty cool belts.
Come on. Like, part of me, I want to be respectful, but a part of me wants to. Part of me wants to consider that, right?
Like you looking for wall space?
I'm literally in my head. Like I want to replicate the jacket without it having the national champion on it, but just the jacket. Like I don't know if they would ever sell those, or they probably won't. Those are earned. But it's gonna be, and Maine got his own. So the team got the second place, the runner-up trophy, the big runner-up trophy, which is really nice. And then each of them got their own runner-up team trophy, and then the All-Americans got their own. And so, yeah, there's a lot of hard work. That plane has an extra weight. Come back. Everybody had a bigger bag. They had really nice swag too. I'm probably going to rock some tomorrow. The NCAA championship swag, the hoodies were fine. So someone, air quotes, someone offered me a hoodie or the zip up. And in the moment, I chose the quarter zip. But in retrospect, I probably should have got the hoodie. Because the hoodie was nice. Like, are you a quarter zip guy or a hoodie guy?
That's a tough pick. Yeah, that's probably, I mean, if it's something nice like that, I understand why you went with quarter zip. But hoodies are nice comfy. I gotta give that.
Yeah, it time of year mattered. So I thought I would probably get more immediate use of the quarter zip, but there's that. All right, we'll throw the break. One final break. I do want to go back through each of the weight classes and what they went through. 34-14 at the national tournament. The Huskers went 34-14. They bring home 2 national championships on the individual level, an individual runner-up as well. Quite the performance by Mark Manning and Nebraska Wrestling. We'll talk about that when we come back to the ticket.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Husker fans, excited for some softball action at Bowling Stadium this year, but can't commit to a full season ticket? They got you covered. Introducing the On Deck Deal. Snag tickets to 5 Husker home games for as little as $30. This partial season lets you choose any 5 games, including one from the Maryland series. Whether you prefer general admission or reserve seating, packages start at just $30. Get your On Deck Deal today at huskers.com/tickets. Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new bounce. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
You hungry? You know you are. We got chicken fingers, crunchy, fries, the golden crispy. Y'all don't forget about the cane sauce, baby. Ooh, here's the spot. Hello.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today, 402-730-6333, or visit blacklabelbuild.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes was my best friend. They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and have heart disease. Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Travis with Midwest Bank, now with 2 branches conveniently serving Lincoln and 8 other locations across Nebraska. We're here to help you with any of your needs. From opening a checking account to buying a home or financing your business, our staff is here for you. Stop in and you might see Shin Daddy himself. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank, member FDIC.
Well, it's the middle of winter, the holidays are over, and the weather is unpredictable. Isn't there anything to look forward to? You bet there is! Cash Blast from your Nebraska Lottery is back! Until April 1st, buy a 2x2 ticket and enter the voucher number online for a chance to win one of 7 weekly drawings for $5,000 or $500. And if your voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. Hey, there's nothing like a little green to cure the winter blues. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 100, 5,000.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Coppell team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with 0 down. So check us out online at CoppellCars.com. All deals with Blue Credit. See dealer details.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it.
This is the year of getting stronger, and Future Stronger You can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up, and free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
You're listening to One on One with DP, brought to you by Canopy Street Market on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I appreciate you hanging out with Bach and I over the course of the hour. And again, just a small tribute to Husker Wrestling and being able to say thank you to them for the effort that they put out and for the support. To go through it at 125, Vincent Robinson from NC State knocked off Tori Spratley of Oklahoma State 2-1. Lucas Bird of Illinois knocked off defending champion Drake Ayala from Iowa at 133. Jesse Mendez, of course, got the 12-9 win over Brock Hardy at 141. At 149, Ridge Lovett claiming the national championship over Caleb Henson in a rivalry. Henson of Virginia Tech defeated him 1-0, and that is a rivalry in full, and pretty cool to have them talk about how much they respected each other. Antrell Taylor at 157 over Joey Blaze. Dean Meady from Oklahoma State knocking off Keegan Toole was a big one at 174. Carter Sirachi becoming the first ever 5-time national champion. Again, through all the reasons that you can imagine, but a 5-time champion this year winning at 184. Stephen Buchanan from Iowa knocking off Joseph Barr from Penn State 5-2 at 197. And the story of all stories, on top of everything else, that with Penn State winning the national title and all of its success, it sent 5 Penn State Nittany Lions to the finals, coming away with 3 titles. But here's well, no, wait a minute. Let me correct myself. Coming away with 1 national title. Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State knocking off Gabe Stevenson. And this was 5-4, and this was he had been dominated in the previous meeting this year. And to have the GOAT go down, the announcers for the different levels of announcers, whoever you were calling this for, called it the biggest upset in wrestling history. And that's pretty impressive for Wyatt Hendrickson, who was an Air Force guy and had wrestled 4 years, and then had, because you don't get a COVID year at the military academies, he had another year of eligibility and decided to go to Oklahoma State and pursue this, and took it on, and a third period takedown secures the win, and pretty marketable. Pretty big upset. I don't know if it's the biggest of all time. They called it the biggest of all time because of Gabe Stevenson, but impressive nonetheless. 2 national champions for the Huskers. Again, this is how they broke it down. Caleb Smith went 5-2 at 125. Jacob Van Dien was 5-2 at 133. Brock Hardy was 4-1. The 3 finalists, of course, only had 5 matches that they could win. Ridge Lovett went 5-0. Antrell Taylor went 5-0. Christopher Minto went 4-2 to get to the semifinals. And in that space, Lenny Pinto went 3-2. Cam McDaniel went 4-3, 197. Silas Ulrich went 4-2 at 184. The Huskers, over the course of this tournament, 9 wrestlers, 39-14. 39-14 in the national championships. Listen, have a weekend, Huskers. Have a weekend, Huskers. And it says a lot, because to go through that and then to have some understanding, and we'll find the clip. But there's a clip of Antrell Taylor talking about winning a national title and what it would be like to step on that podium. Well, he got to live out that dream last night. And his teammates got to live it out with him. And it's amazing how many of these young men talk about the team, that their success was based on the team. It was the accumulation of the work the team put together, iron sharpening iron, and them competing with Penn State and coming away with the number 2 position in all of the country. All the country. Silas already is a junior. I'll point that out. Harley Andrews is a sophomore. As you go through the list, that Blake Cushing was a junior. Brock Hardy is a junior. Rich Lovett is a senior, of course. Cam McDaniel, freshman. Christopher Minto, a redshirt freshman. Lenny Pinto, a junior. Caleb Smith is a graduate. Antrell Taylor, a sophomore. Jacob Van D, a sophomore. They're all there. And the recruiting process is live. So shout out. Congratulations to Coach Manning, his coaching staff, the entire roster, to the whole Husker Nation. What a great weekend it was. Man. Runner up. Not bad, Huskers. Not bad. I'm going in search of the jacket and the belt. Bob, thank you for doing what you do. Of course. Chris Galarvik up next here on the ticket. Don't go anywhere.
Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and their